Hello everyone, and welcome back to a new episode of Prismata. We're just going to jump in the queue here. Needed a new ticket. Apparently we finished the ticket on the last episode. I don't really remember it, but I'm sure it happened. Ah, Spectral Wave. Again. What is going on here? Red-green looked pretty good. Like Feral and Electivore is just a pretty cool combo. It would be really nice to get Bombarder. It's not like combos, it's like they're two rushy red units, right? And then like with the Fibroid as well, it should be pretty like powerful, I think. I think it might be hard to get blue. Right, you just want more red and more blue, more green. There's no absorbers, like, I mean, Chieftain slows things down, but I don't know that you can really get Chieftain. And, you know, so does Bombarder. If you could get Bombarder, you would slow the game down some by... I don't know. I don't think I'm going to, though. I think I'm just going to get, like, these units at the top and maybe a kinetic driver at some point. Turn 2 Animus is probably right. Into, like, T1D. And then another T1D, and then I can maybe get conduits. It's a bit slow to get green. And green's pretty important because of Feral. Right? If the opponent just goes like natural Animus into like T1C, I feel like I'll be having some difficulties. So I could get a turn 2 Conduit into a turn 3 Animus. That's probably better. But I honestly, like, I don't know what is the right thing to do in player 2 Feral lines. Yeah, maybe he actually gets, like, just CA next turn is another possibility. I don't know. That might be okay with me. I wouldn't mind being up a drone in that kind of scenario. Or 2 drones, I guess it would be. Like, I think if I do open DA, he can respond CA and do quite well. Right? Get like a Feral and a 4 or something. Or Feral Tarsier, I don't know. Yeah. So this seems okay, and then DA next turn is like the pretty obvious follow-up. And then I'll have 12 drones, which is reasonably comfortable for like Tarsier Feral or Tarsier Vor or whatever. Let's just real quick, like, think some more about the DA line here. Yeah, I think he just loses pretty badly to CA from him. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I think. I think he'll play CA anyway, but at least this way I'll have green as well, as opposed to being like playing basically just Tarsiers against Ferals. BA. Wow, Bombarders. And, Oride Core? To, like, make an early Electivore payoff? I didn't anticipate this. Is that really good? Like, what is he doing exactly now? It must be like T1-5, right? That's kind of cool, I guess. But I think that green is T1-5, like, but how's he going to get enough money for Bombarders, right? I don't understand why you're getting blue if it's not for bombarders here, and I don't see how you get bombarders on 10 drones. I guess Oride Core will help a little bit with that. So maybe like T15 into TT5. Then you can get a drone or two and you're hitting for a lot? I don't know. I guess I don't see it. No Tarsier. Interesting. Well, we're not building an absorber here to reward him for this Electrovore. Or for this Oride Core. Just more efficient long-term attackers. I could get another conduit here instead of the 2 drones. I don't think that's right. I could get a blast forge. I think I'm over-teched. I won't really be in a position to use my attack up on Oride Cores. Excuse me. Okay, so could you shut up? I hate the dang beeping noises you get about shit you just don't care about. It's so distracting. Yeah, this seems fine. I sort of expect a second Oride Core, but if you want to do that, you're getting a second Vor as well, which means you need to still have 2 engineers. So it's a bit difficult for my opponent to do that. I assume that like they built this Oride Core hoping to have the $2 this turn, and so like not building an absorber gives them a difficult choice. Building the absorber obviously is just like free money for the opponent. Two Tarsiers now, or what? I'm glad we got a wall out, actually, with this 1 damage. It's, like, not a disaster for the opponent to have built a wall, but still. It's not attack, and it's not, like, Oride Cores to deny absorb. Oh, really? Yeah, I guess you could defend on the Electrovore. So that, Huh. But then I don't have to build any more, I don't have to even, like, build a Feral, right? I can just hold back my Vor, and it probably defends. Interesting. So we got away with it in a way. And now I'd like to add a substantial amount of damage all at once to make it difficult for my opponent to, like, get wall value. Feral is, like, okay now, but it gives my opponent permission to click these Oride Cores. So I'd rather, if I can, find some more efficient, fast damage dealers. Something like this? Now, the problem with this is they can attack killing Engineer, right? And then I'll only be dealing 3 damage? I could consider holding a drone to protect my Engineer against the unlikely event that they You know, I think the opponent really does not... The opponent would rather gain $4 than kill one engineer, is my opinion. And so I don't need to do anything drastic like hold a drone or force field here. I can just suddenly ramp to 5 damage, and then 4 damage, and then like next turn build a feral when it's actually getting some value. This could be a Gauss cannon, but that's clearly bad. I guess this could be a Rhino, meaning that I actually do attack for everything, even if they kill an NG. But I'd rather have a Vor than a Rhino, I think. A Vor and a dollar than a Rhino, anyway. Yeah, if they want to attack with everything to deny themselves $4 so that I can't... So that I attack for 3 instead of 4, that's fine with me. Another Oride and a Tarsier or something? Like, I don't know. That's a way you could avoid clicking the Oride. But so far we're getting away with it, right? We're not having to build absorbers. Alright, here they come with the Bombarder. This is where it's going to get exciting. It occurs to me that Fibroid is not so good in the kind of game that I have planned for myself, because it's really about, like, threat, and... I mean, I don't know. It's probably fine as a defender, but, like... The problem is if you use the Fibroid, is like, I threaten to soak with the Fibroid or attack with it. You kind of have to, like, lose either Engineers or Fibroid, and those are both, like, equivalently... Well, losing Fibroid is actually clearly much better, because the Engineers deal damage and stay alive, right? So the threat of, like, keeping Fibroid alive is not actually a relevant one. And likewise... Ferals are kind of in a position of... I don't know. It seems like there's some anti-synergies with Fibroid anyway, although I'm not so clear on the details. Alright, they're going to continue not attacking. But I probably do have to build a Feral now? Maybe I could get away with a Fibroid? Which would let me attack a bit more, right? Something like this. Now, if they attack for absolutely everything, they kill 2 Engineers and shut off a Vor, right? But they don't really want to do that. And then the Fibroid gets to attack, which puts a lot of pressure on. I could make this Tarsier a Vor, but then they get a lot of they get some value by actually killing 2 Engineers, since it shuts off 2 damage, not just 1. Okay. I briefly misread this number and thought my opponent was floating 9 for some grand malevolent plan. Alright, I guess I can just live with this. It seems like they're going to have a tough time keeping all their attack firing and also building Bombarder, right? Like, I actually am threatening 7, even if you attack with everything. So, what are you going to do with a red and a green that defends? Fine. But you still lose... okay, this keeps your NGs alive. Yeah, sure. But losing these drones is not very comfortable either, and you have a ton of tech that you have to continue supporting. Okay, I should stop, like, just sort of gloating about how great I think my plan is and try to, like, figure out how to respond to the plays my opponent might actually make. So here they're absorbing onto probably the Rhino and losing an attack here, losing one, getting one Vor turned off, or killed. So they're actually attacking for 6. And they might, in fact, try to hold the Bombarder as an absorber and then attack for 0. So this is sort of okay, right? The Fibroid defends against the threat of them attacking for all that. And... okay, here's the thing, though. I need more green. I'm spending a lot of it. Yeah. Okay. So they take all this damage. Attack for at most 3. Is that correct? Sorry, at most 6, and probably... yeah, they have to lose one of these two. I assume it'll be the Vor, since it's not firing anyway. So the Rhino lives. And they can attack for 6, or 3 if they hold the Bombarder. And then they can tap all the Oride cores and, like... exploit my Feral Warden by not attacking. But in the meantime, my Fibroid is getting a value by attacking, so I think that's probably okay. And I have guaranteed 2 NGs next turn, so... so the Vors are all still firing. Yeah, I mean, this reduces my attack by 1. Probably 2, of course, because I'll lose the Fibroid. But they have to defend as though I might sack the Warden. And attack for 8. Okay, Fibroid does that, sure. I thought they would actually be holding the Bombarder to attack for 3 and then turn it all into money. I'm a little surprised to see this, because... isn't the Breach pretty bad for you? I'll build another NG, sure. All right. Well, that wasn't how I expected that game to go at all. I mean, in fairness, what I did was what I expected to do. But my opponent just, like, I don't understand. This BA seems completely wrong to me, and they couldn't... well, not true. The BA into Oride cores seemed okay. It seems like a plausible plan that you might come up with, although instead of these drones, I would be inclined to just build more attackers. Because I didn't realize you would want to go for Bombarder. I think you just don't have enough money for all of that. So given that you're not planning to go for Bombarder, you don't need these drones. You want another attacker. Like a Tarsier here is pretty good, right? Because next turn you can build another Oride Core and like 2 more Tarsiers, and you're continuing to attack for 0 for a while. And that seems playable to me. I don't know. It doesn't seem great because green is pretty amazing, but you're player 1, green's a little awkward. Maybe you can make up something clever with blue and red. So fine. I think I did well to not over-defend this threat. And then my opponent just continued to overtech and built a bunch of attackers but didn't attack with them. And then overtech some more. It was pretty rough. I guess the main thing I would say that I'm pleased with myself for doing this game is trying to walk the thin line between like too much defense and too little defense against an opponent who has a lot of threat, right? Quite often they could have attacked and done like a little bit of meaningful damage. And I tried to like make neither option good. I don't know if I did it perfectly, but it felt okay. And honestly, like the main thing that I'm not sure about. Okay, so also is this breach like good? We could analyze that, I guess. We could say, suppose that I didn't do that. Suppose I do what the opponent expected. This puts me under way more pressure because now if they want, they can absorb on Fibroid, right? And so I have to actually respect all 8 of this damage. Well, 7. Because they'll lose an engineer. And like that's probably possible for me. Barely. Something like this is how I would respect all that damage. But I think it's clearly way better to just wipe that Fibroid and the NG off the map. This over defends by 1 already because they're not attacking with the Vor, and so that means, you know, so I don't know how many engineers exactly to build, but I don't have anything else to do with my money. And if I can build more engineers now, I won't have to build Fibroid next turn, which frees up my red-green for doing something more valuable. I could build another conduit instead, but I think that's fixing the problem in the wrong way. Anyway, so that was... I thought I did a good job of, like, managing the amount of defense I had and making sure it would be awkward for my opponent to click or not click the Oride Core. And the other thing that I'm actually least certain about was, like, turns 2 and 3, right? Was natural condiment... condiment? What in the world? Condiments. Okay. Was natural conduit into turn 3 Animus the right approach here? If my opponent does what I thought they would do, like this seems much more potent. This is what I was worried about. And then they go like this. And suddenly, like, it's not even totally clear what I should be doing. I guess, like, this is probably okay. Although, why not build a Vor? Like, just start hitting really hard. Yeah, this is actually pretty spooky, isn't it? Now the opponent attacks here, although it's not doing anything, so you might consider absorbing instead. But no, they probably just want to build a Feral. And a Tarsier, since they're only going to have 1 NG next turn. I guess they're building another, right? Maybe you could build another Vor here. And, like, I don't know, this game gets pretty sharp, and I'm not totally clear on who's winning it, although it does seem sort of comfortable for the opponent, doesn't it? Well, comfortable is a strong word, isn't it? Maybe you just do something like this. Well, why though? You're losing these 2 NGs if you don't, I guess is the answer, right? And so I was thinking of something that involves rebuilding NGs and building something more efficient with the red, but you can't because you only have $3 if you do this. If you do this, I don't know what else you do with the money. I guess just NGs so that maybe next turn you don't need to fibroid. And like, oh my gosh, this is a lot of attack. Then I'm out of green. You see what I mean? This is like brutal. God, no wonder I was worried about this happening. I have to go like this just to protect my one engineer? I guess I could snipe their red, but I don't think that's gonna work out well for me. I'm threatening to attack for 6, I guess. But that's like not even that hard to defend, is it? Well, okay, I guess it is. Man. Anyway, the point is, this is a much like this is a scary game that I don't know if I'm winning. It feels like I'm losing, but maybe I'm not. And this blue just doesn't feel right to me. Well, it's a bit late in the episode to start a new game. I have a few games that I played against Masterbot that I marked as, like, interesting. Obviously, games against Masterbot are not, like, top-notch quality, amazing analysis, but they did have some interesting points. So we can look at 1 or 2 of those with the end of the episode, with the time remaining for us in this episode. This one I thought was cool, actually, because I was shocked at how well this bot played a Savior game. Like, is this a Savior set? I think it might be, with Infusion Grid and Aegis as pretty good soak / absorb. And so I, like... Also, though, I don't know Savior lines, but I guess I actually, at the time, decided not to build Savior, right? I was like, okay, Thermite Core, that should really punish any big econ stuff. And the bot's like, LOL, going Savior. And so I just, like, continued to build up some attack. The bot continues to drone, buys, like, a ton of NGs. Although... bought 4 NGs and then couldn't buy 4 drones, so that looks like a mistake. Bought a 5th NG and still couldn't buy more drones. So yeah, if you'd stayed at 3, you could have gotten 1 more drone by now. Anyway, and I'm building up a bunch of Thermite Cores with the idea that, like, right before the Savior comes in, I'll break in and kill a bunch of drones. Which, in fact, I can do. Right? I guess I decided not to? Why? I haven't reviewed this game for a while, but, like, that seems clearly better. The only value of... This is a terrible play. The only value of clicking Thermite Cores is that you deny Absorb. And a Breach also denies Absorb, and I get to kill 3 enemy drones, which is like 6 drones because they have Savior. So this is a terrible blunder by me. Don't know what I was thinking. Maybe this explains why the bot did so well with Savior, huh? Because I, like, just didn't do anything good. And now I finally am like, well, better get them now while I can, because these engineers are disappearing. Or are going to cover them pretty soon. And I get in and I finally kill some drones. Would have been better to kill them last turn, but, you know. And all those engineers are suddenly, like, able to actually defend. I don't have enough Thermite Cores to continue denying Absorb. And suddenly I have a bunch of Plasma Fires to deal with. The bot actually, like, puts down an Odin. It's, like, quickly becoming very panicking here, and I just sort of have to let him in. And I'm, like, at this point thinking, can I really live? Like, aren't they going to be out of drones, maybe, hopefully? Even if they are out of drones, can I get through all this stuff in time? But actually, Odin just defends. It's, like, unreal. Fortunately, they've been overzealous in clicking plasma fires and blow all their drones. But this big breach was, like... I can't believe it. Like, I thought the thermite cores would totally make Savior bad. Analyzing it now, especially after watching M. Sven's video about, like, when is Savior good, and the answer is, like, more often than you think. I now believe this would be a good Savior set, but at the time I didn't. And, like, look at this position. It does not look very good for me. Like, I have more attack, and my attackers have higher health, but his can absorb, sort of, like, and he has a Savior that I have to figure out how to kill to avoid the draw. I spent quite a lot of time, like, making sure to be careful on these turns to get things right. How fast can I kill the Savior? And eventually it's like, okay, I get there. I just kill the last Steel Splitter while I have 3 Gauss Cannons and managed to kill the Blast Forge. So he resigns. But, like, given the, like, I don't know, man. The bot does not play high econ games well, and I was just shocked that it was able to do this Savior thing, like, somewhat competently. I think what it did is clearly losing, but, you know, especially if I had, say, like, taken the breach when I had it. But, just, like, unusually good play from the bot, I thought. Alright, now this one, these two games, like, were right after, one after another, I think. So what's the deal here? I think there is probably some good blue-green thing, but what I saw in this set was a big absorber in Energy Matrix and some big red units that would love to be behind a big absorber. Furthermore, a red sink that also makes it easier to get Energy Matrix without having to commit to 2 blue, because you don't really want 2 blue except for building matrices. So if you could buy, like, 1 blue and 2 red, you could turn that into 2 blue, 1 blue, 1 Blast Forge and 2 Animuses. You could sort of, like, buy a Ferritin Sack every turn and pretend that you have 2 Blast Forges and 1.5 Animuses. And put either Fangs or Amperillas behind that. And I thought, I don't know, like, none of this was necessarily super amazing, but I was just really pleased with how it turned out. Also because it was like a... I almost never get to go 3rd Engie into red first. That just doesn't happen to me. As player 2, you usually buy the green because, like, it's fine. Here I decided I didn't want green. I wanted to save the money to get that Animus early. Oh, did I actually go... Did I go no Blast Forges this game? That's pretty cool. Yeah, 2 Ferritin Sacks for a Matrix on the first turn, and then, like, just 1 sack every turn thereafter, so that I can, like, spend 3 red. Yes, with the plan of getting Amperilla. That's why all the Tarsiers instead of starting in on the Fangs right away. And, you know, Masterbot, like, doesn't do so great here, but he actually gets, like, Fangs, which is pretty cool. Good for him. But just, like, Amperilla, Ferritin Sack, Wall is a pretty gross turn. And I can have that turn several times with a bunch of Tarsiers, and the game, you know, quickly ends. I thought it was just really cool, like, getting Energy Matrix with no blue, and also, you know, this was, like, an amazing set for Ferritin Sack, right? It served a useful role both as a red tech sink and also as a flexible way to get blue. Like, that's sort of what it always is. It's a red tech sink and a flexible way to get blue. But sometimes you only really want one of those 2 things. Like, in some of the past videos on the channel where I've tried to get Odin with just Ferritin Sacks, it was like, haha, here's a clever way to get some blue. That did not fare very well. But sometimes it's like, oh, you know, I just have too much red and too little money this turn, but, like, maybe a few turns from now I'll be able to spend the blue. That's usually not such a great plan, but sometimes it's okay. Here, though, it was doing really well at both parts of its job. And Masterbot gives up here, but I wanted to kill his fangs before I let him quit. And finally, like right after that, was another game with Big Red and a tech sync, Phage. And I don't know if I had this plan, but I realized that after getting the 2 Dynamos, you can actually just slam down double Animus and buy Fang Phage, and suddenly like all your problems are fixed. You have attackers, you have plenty of money, and you can turn any spare red you have. Like if you don't need it for something else, you can turn it into money. Fibroid ended up being sort of useful, but I don't know if it was really that critical. Could have just been a Rhino, I guess. Well, no, because I needed the money to build a Blast Forge so that I could build a real defender. And clearly, like, Masterbot's line here is just absolute trash, so anything I did would have worked. Yeah, that's right, he goes through the Fibroid pile. But it was just kind of cool, like, I didn't realize that, like, the double Dynamo works out pretty okay with double red, like, for Fangs. You know, you want something else to spend that red on, and it's perfect if that thing happens to be Phage, but any kind of red tech sync will work. Or even Tarsier if you have to. You have kind of a moderate number of drones. Anyway, I just thought this was kind of cool. I had a day of, like, Big Red with red sinks, I guess. All right, I just wanted to show off those games. They were kind of interesting lines to look at, interesting builds, and we didn't have time for. Well, we might have had time if it had been a short game, but sometimes games take like 40 minutes, and I didn't want to start one of those. So that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.